Welcome to the Front Three podcast with myself, Big Will, Coach Dan, and of course the prodigy himself, AJ. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening. I was wondering, does he still start his interviews that way? Do you know what?
I think he does.
I don't know, it was such an iconic piss take when he was at Arsenal.
But since he's lifted off with Villa, I think he's refined the English a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
So maybe it's good day, gentlemen. Good evening. How are you?
I'll tell you like this, guys. I'm just happy to put behind me this whole Imam Khalif kind of nonsense and get football going, man. Leave the Olympics behind me and just get going.
That's the living behind me. Do you know what's funny though? It's like, I know the Prem is this weekend, but I haven't felt that like, oh my days, the Prem is starting this. I don't know.
Really?
Because we've had so much football.
And because it's been such a long summer of sport as well. Remember there was Wimbledon as well.
Yeah.
And the Olympics. I felt like the Olympics dragged. Like, every time I turn my TV, something's going on. Every time I click the red button, something's going on. And then all the scandals and
drama,
COVID, like just so much. And now I'm like, oh, the Prem's actually started. Like, it feels like we haven't really had a break.
It will hit you on the first game.
When I see that young Arsenal lineup, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be excited.
MLS, it's all about MLS this season, isn't it?
Clear off, man.
Skelly.
ML who? Bro, stop it. He needs to relax, enjoy, getting into the first team. But the senior boys are there, mate. The Thomas Parties are
back. Why are we talking about it? The program began, let's talk about better stuff.
Alright, so guys, obviously, his boyfriend Jurgen decided to call it quits, so he's still feeling a bit, you know what I mean? But hopefully over the course of the season, Trent will make him fall back in love with Liverpool. If not, I don't give a heck. Because he's really a Fulham fan. And the Fulham have been, looking kind of enticing with a few signings,
Exactly.
They signed their first ever superstar, so, courtesy of us guys. So you're welcome. To be honest, you should be thanking me. You should be thanking me.
Okay, myself first superstar. You don't know the history.
Oh, what? Clint Dempsey.
AJ, tell them what they need to do.
Before you go anywhere, don't forget to comment, share the video. Come on, share it with someone right now. Why not right now? Comment, like, and subscribe.
The Premier League website this week released the 10 biggest questions of the upcoming 2024-2025 Premier League season. So we thought, as a Front Three pod, we'll try and answer those 10 questions. And so, first part, we'll answer the first 5. The next episode, you listen to the next 5 questions. So, let's start off with question number 1. Arsenal, AJ. Can they go one step further?
When they release these type of questions, I'm always like, it's a bit childish. Do you know why? Because I feel like these type of questions should be asked when the transfer window shuts. Because then I have an informed knowledge on what my team is going to produce. However, I can answer that one for you.
Yeah? Please do.
I believe this is Arsenal's year.
Okay.
I believe this is the year Arsenal win the Prem.
Why?
I think last year we were so close, but I called it in around November, December that City would come through and win it. Mm-hmm. But I think being so close last year and the year before, I think this is a time where Arsenal must step up and do it. I think there are 1 or 2 more signings that will be done before the end of the transfer window as well. And I think that will boost us even more. But I think in terms of where we are at, in terms of defensively, I'm very happy defensively with what we have. We were sound last year. Yeah. It was just in the attacking element and in midfield where we lacked a little bit. But now everyone is fit. TP is back. TP5 is back.
Until
the
he
Spider.
Gets again.
I don't want to hear it. And looking at the variations of what we can play. Now we signed Calafiori as well. Zinchenko has looked very bright in preseason as well. Not saying that he's going to make a huge difference, but we have more variations of what we can do. And I feel like it will help us when we come against low blocks and different things like that. I just feel something that this the year Arsenal do it. I'm not going to tell you how. I'm not going to say by how many points. But I feel like this the year that Arsenal do it.
What's the biggest challenge they're going to have to overcome, apart from, of course, City?
The ability to score goals or have someone who will score 25 goals. I think that is the biggest hurdle. Right now, we're looking at Jesus, we're looking at Havertz, Nketiah, whether he stays or not. So we're looking at really, Jesus has been on fire in pre-season. He looks different. His movement's sharper. Again, can he stay injury-free for the rest of the season? That could be a big positive for us. He started off season amazingly well last year, and then he got injured, and then he struggled with his form. You're looking at the form of Saka. You know, we know what he can do. Can he take it to another level? So I think the biggest thing is, and someone will be watching this thinking, yeah, but Arsenal scored good goals last year, a lot of goals. But to win the Prem, you must outscore everybody else. And so I think that's our biggest challenge is, can we get a goal scorer through the door? Or can everyone take their goal scoring experts to another level? Can Martinelli chip in 20 goals this season? Can Saka do 25? Can Havertz score 15? Can Jesus finally hit 25? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I believe that's the biggest hurdle, aside from the guys in blue from Manchester.
Then quickly then, Coach, before we move on to our next question, Jeremy Carragher said today that Arteta doesn't really trust his squad. That's why he's overused players like Rice, Saka.
Why do we keep on listening to this guy's opinions? Genuinely, why do we keep on listening to Jeremy Carragher's opinions?
He said, obviously, Emil Smith-Rowe is gone because he didn't get much of a look in. Fabio Vieira, same thing as well. How do you feel about Arteta's use of the squad, and does he have to do a better job of that if Arsenal are to win the league?
If you did say that, I suppose the question you asked him, right, when you look at City in the times that they've won, how often did Fernandinho play for Manchester City? Pretty much every game. How often does Rodri play when he's available? Pretty much every game. So why is that wrong for Rice to play? Rice has the capability of doing it, so he plays. Your best players play.
Facts.
It's the Premier League. The moment you start chopping and changing, that's disrespect to the league you're playing in. And we know Arsenal tried that in the, was it FA Cup? They got knocked out by West Ham. You have to respect the competitions you're in. Pep, people understand why Pep is such a serial winner. He takes every competition serious.
Facts.
He takes every competition serious. There's not like, today I'm going to play the youth and then tomorrow I'll do this. No.
Yeah.
You put one or two in, but you play a solid team.
The nucleus is always solid.
You have to. I don't think I subscribe to that.
And also, that kind of question is insinuating nonsense. At the end of the day, there are a lot of players in our Arsenal squad who shouldn't be at Arsenal. Let's just be honest.
I don't know if it's a lot, but yes, some of them.
The deadwood, quote unquote. There's a lot of them.
There are a couple that I think at some point, Emil Smith-Rowe being one of them,
Yeah.
you just have to think about your personal career and be
you're
like,
not having a look
I
in. You're
love
not
the
going to
club
play
and
over
everything.
Odegaard. Bro. So I feel like the squad can be better quality-wise. Yes, we all know that. There can be better competition. Do you know what I mean? I remember last year I said, if I'm Saka, I turn up train every day, and I'm seeing like Reece Nelson, I'm not worried. Does that make sense? I know that every match day, my name is on there.
Yeah.
So, and that's one thing I admire about Pep is that he signs players to compete with those who are already starting.
But I mean, it's like you said, and I think we could have even ended it there. It's a bit nonsensical.
Yeah.
Salah played every game. That's how these guys get numbers. Saka's age shouldn't be worried about the amount of games he's playing. Yes, when he needs rest in the game, you should have the option to take him off. And I think when they needed to, they did it anyway. I don't see what the big deal was. It wasn't like it hugely affected Arsenal in the games that they didn't win. I don't think that's why Arsenal didn't win the games they didn't win, or why they just fell short of the Premier League.
Actually.
Okay, so question number 2 for you, Coach. How quickly can Slot implement his style at Liverpool?
I've been watching them during this pre-season.
So have we all.
It seems like it's been implemented.
I must concur.
And I love. He's brought a different style, but the same philosophy in the sense of it has to be intense.
Yeah.
What he has, from what I've observed anyway, right, is that in the midfield is very congested because he wants to win the ball and he wants to keep the ball. So the players find themselves in close proximity of each other, and his fullbacks are just gone. And it seems like they look to break from a third man run.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watched the Arsenal game when Salah rinced a certain Zinchenko. It was a third man run, and I think the recent game against Seville as well. I saw it's like repeating the same video almost, or the same play. And I've seen what they do. Just watching it, right? They invite the press, but they're not scared to go long.
And that's the thing. Someone holds it in place,
And it seems to be working. It seems as though, from what I've watched, right, it's been implemented and the guys are enjoying it. It will take time. You know, they've been under Jurgen's what is it called, tenure for a while. So it will take time for players to catch on, because there were a lot of like Trent who was away, who hasn't really had the time to be around and whatnot. And I've really liked it. That being said, though, just because it gets implemented doesn't mean it will be successful in the Premier League.
Right.
When you're playing week after week after week after week.
Yeah.
It might just mean that they might stumble along the way somewhere, right? And it'll just take time to go. I look at them and I think they're one of the very few teams that have not really done anything this transfer window. And I get it. He's come from Holland and thought, we've got a very good team here, the individuals. But the Premier League is a different beast. You will need to bring people in, because I think the reason why
But
Liverpool,
they did try with Zubimendi.
They did. I'm not crying about that. I think we can get better players.
Why are you saying we?
Oh, forgive me.
You're a Fulham fan. Stop doing
Forgive
this.
me. I even forgot Jurgen Kopper's left. I forgot Jurgen Kopper's left. I forgot Jurgen Kopper's left. What was I saying? But they need midfields. They need midfield. I think that was one of the reasons why they fell off at the end of last season.
I agree with you.
They were running off with it. They had like a kind of momentum. Then they dropped off. That midfield, they need something in there. They need like some two solid midfielders, I would argue.
Any challenges for Liverpool this season? What would be your...
I think midfield wise, I think forward wise, they've got so much fluidity and pace
and variety.
I think they'll be okay in that department. Obviously, the other day I saw a few links here about Luis Diaz potentially leaving. That has been shut down, and I think he'll be very important for Liverpool this season. Actually, I think if he
I think for me, Jota's going to be one of their most important.
If he can stay fit,
I think arguably he's probably their best goal scorer.
Yeah.
He scores all different type of goals, and I think he'll be key. Yeah. I just think midfield wise, I'm a bit worried for them. I'm a bit worried for Liverpool, just midfield wise.
Yeah.
You know, and then whoever they bring in has to adapt very quickly, unless they sign someone from the Prem, which I think is going to be highly unlikely. Whoever that comes in has to adapt very quickly to the Prem, and we all know what the Prem is, very unforgiving. So if they're going to do it, they need to do it fast.
Definitely. So question number 3 then, AJ. Will United's new look defence revitalise Ten Hag's hopes? They got Lenny Yoro. They got the
Euros are injured, number one, so that's a shame. I want to be very honest. People might throw stones at me in the comments. Hey, no problem. De Ligt's overrated.
Oh, okay.
Personally, for me.
Expound.
Personally, for me, I think he's overrated.
Go ahead.
Because when he was first signed to Bayern, there was so much noise made about this young man. He's quick, he's strong, he can do everything. But his tenure at Bayern wasn't successful.
Neither was it at Juventus.
I was about to backtrack as well and go back to Juve. So it's almost like there's been so much noise made about this guy. Hasn't worked at Juve, hasn't worked at Bayern. Now he's come to Manchester United. A team that isn't in the best shape at the moment and hasn't been for the last few years. There's that element of it. And there's an element of him having to adapt to the Prem. Listen, this isn't Bayern where you're coming up against, the hardest striker he comes up against is in training. Bro, you're coming up against an Ivan Toney that when you feel his elbow, long day at the office. You're coming up against an Ollie Watkins when he runs in behind you. It's a long day at the office, and he can't move that quick. Yeah. So for me, Man United's basis of success will be based on how well they can keep certain players fit.
Yeah,
that's all for me. That's it.
Well, those certain players.
Luke Shaw.
Martinez for me is key. I think if Martinez is a mainstay in that defense of Man United this season, they'll be all right. Rashford's form is key. And those are the ones I'll leave it at for now. So, De Ligt's signing that, for me, doesn't change anything about Manchester United, personally. When they signed Varane, even Varane towards the end of his career, there were people like, yes, this is the stability they need. Very rare. The guy was still shanking balls. So, do you know what I'm saying? So, for me, De Ligt coming is great, but I probably was more excited about Euro. But now he's injured. Do you know what I mean? So,
Coach, Højlund, Xerxes, can they make a difference up front for United?
They're not good enough.
Thank you.
That's why players, they're just not good enough.
But they've got Arsenal's Stop
it, man.
What happened? They're not good enough
Yeah.
for what a club like United are looking to achieve.
That's why I didn't mention them when I was talking about
Okay.
certain players.
Yeah.
Even Hodgland, what we were talking about, he got injured. No one really knows what's going to happen with him.
He's done
Last
his
year was the
hamstring.
same story. I think it's a big ask from Xerxes to come in and be like, oh, we need you to get 15 goals. Because that would be like the appropriate amount, depending on how much he's going to play anyway. I don't think they're good enough. That is just as simple as that. I don't think those two players... Wait, hold on.
Imagine going on trial at his club and he doesn't fancy the way you get released. Oh my days! Just don't feel you're good enough. Just don't feel you're good enough.
No, they're big boys. You need to be able to sit them down.
I do agree with you though. I don't think they're good enough.
Well,
and it's weird when I say that. I don't think it's not that they're not good players.
Yeah.
I just think they're not good enough for what United are looking to achieve, or the expectations the fans have for United.
Yeah.
And if the moment that those expectations stop, United have lost their identity.
The identity's waning as it is, bro.
fair enough. Coach Dan, question number 4. Maresca. Is he going to eventually bring stability to Chelsea?
You're asking me these questions that you have to keep composed. You know that. You have to keep composed. Otherwise, you say one or two things. I'll say
3 or
this.
4.
I've got to a point where now I don't blame the managers that come to Chelsea any longer. We can have our opinions about them, and I have mine
Yeah.
reservations about this manager, yeah?
Yeah.
But it's got to a point it's not even about them no more. That same question could have been asked about, could Poch have done it? But it seems like they wake up, I don't know, if their what is it called? Their chefs don't give them good breakfast, they're like, oh, someone's got to go
Someone's
today.
got to go today.
Someone's got to go today. You know? I'm so annoyed. Someone's going to go.
Yeah.
Who can I sack? My manager.
My manager.
Yeah.
It just seems like that's what's happening at Chelsea. If this guy is going to get a year, forget it. It's a joke. You have to bring a manager in and be like, okay, we need something. We need some identity. We need some stability. If it means they don't do well, or similar to Arteta, finish eighth, we have to stick with him and see. But who knows? Like I said, it depends how they wake up in the morning.
Chelsea is so volatile. It's actually just chaos.
I'm telling you, it's so
Like, bro, tomorrow we could wake up and hear that. And then
it's literally like that.
Man,
You don't know what to expect.
And then even with their signings, like, bro, I can tell you for free, he's not making any of these signings.
But look,
So they're signing. So do you know what someone said to me the other day? They were like, they feel like Chelsea have a ban coming. So they're trying to get all their business done now. And then when the ban happens, well, we're stacked, so we're good. Because that's the only way you can make sense of what they're doing.
it's almost as if, there's someone who's just high off his head running that club. Like, no one at that club is sober. There's nothing they're doing.
Can all the Chiefs at Chelsea come and do breathalyzer? We gotta test them.
Is there anything that they're doing that you can see like a consistency with it? It just doesn't make sense. Apart from putting these lot on death row contracts.
And they're all
That's
young.
the only thing that's consistent.
There's only 2 consistent things. Most of them are young, and it's like 7-8 year deals.
And then
I can't see the blueprint, the angle that and then they just keep on
Now
finding
they
all
want to
these.
bring back João Felix
Yeah.
again. It just...
And they just keep on starting all these Brazilian youths. That,
they can't sell Conor Gallagher. It's just...
and it's I don't know, man. It's
you know,
so strange.
Coming back to that manager,
Yeah.
in talking about, would he be finally the individual? Like I said, I have my reservations about him, because again, I think the reason for bringing him, it's not justifiable for bringing him. It's like what they're trying to, or the state that they're in currently, bringing that manager doesn't really tell me anything. I can tell you what I think, or the reason why they brought him in. They seen, right, a disciple of Pep go to Arsenal and do so well, and they just thought, oh, okay, who's the next person and they looked at him and brought him in. Aside from that, why is he at the club?
Because I promise you this for free. If they dare play the way Leicester were playing in the champ, Chelsea get relegated.
The way they've been playing in pre-season, because I've given time to see.
Same, I've been watching.
And
Play with it.
All I
They
can
get
say
high line,
is,
don't
if
they?
you're a Chelsea fan, shiver me timber, timber me shiva.
but who knows, man?
I'd
Maybe the
be
season
very
starts and
scared.
a click. But it's just the continuity of manager. They need that stability. it's lacking at Chelsea right now, and it doesn't make sense.
AJ, let's talk about your favourite team, Tottenham Hotspur. Will and Postecoglou and Spurs challenge at the top this season, based on their signings and
Do you know what?
trajectory?
The Solanke deal, I remember I said it hurt me so much. I think Solanke's top stuff. I think he's an all-rounder.
Okay.
He can do it all. He can bring people into play, scores different type of goals, good in the air, good with both feet, can run in behind, can beat someone one-on-one. And I think he was someone they needed to get, and they got him. Very upset about that. Dumb. Big mistake. Big mistake. However, I think Spurs will do well. I think they'll do well. I don't think they'll have enough to sustain a top 4 challenge.
Okay.
Just because when I look at what other teams are doing, and just based off last year as well, like you look at the likes of Villa, you look at the way West Ham have strengthened as well. I think West Ham will have a good season. It's even silly to even try and call West Ham dark horses because the signings they've made, they're not dark horses.
We'll talk about West Ham,
but yeah. So I still think Spurs are lacking in midfield.
But they signed that young Swede, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but I feel like they need... I don't know, their midfield, the balance of their midfield doesn't make sense for me, just in terms of what I feel like they need. And also, Basuma just got suspended from training for doing the drugging me drugs. You know?
The way you guys were cracking up a second ago, I thought maybe you'd have been indulging in those stuff as well.
So yeah, maybe the Chelsea owners are indulging in that stuff. But yeah, so he'll play a pivotal part in Spurs this season as well. Can he stay fit? Can he really help them push on? I just don't think they have enough. But I don't think he'll be this. But I think next season, we'll see a very good Spurs team.
Coach, feelings about Spurs, Ange Ball, will it work this season?
I'm sort of like opposite with him with Dominic.
Yeah.
Is it?
Honestly, I am. I think for a player who's been almost like I don't know, what do you even call it? Just on the fringes of Premier League football and go one season where he's done okay and to pay that amount of money for him, I think it's a lot. It's a lot to ask. And it comes with the expectations from Tottenham fans. Because I guarantee you right now they'll be thinking he's the next Harry Kane. And please, let's not mistake. Let's straighten some line.
Spurs fan that's thinking that they have a serious case of delusionalism.
No, it happens.
Because you can't.
There's a lot of delusional fans. Trust me. And the only positive is that I think him coming in will probably take Son to his natural position, which is where I think they need him, and so that might be good. I'm not saying Solanke won't score goals, but I just don't think he is the answer to their question.
Okay.
I don't think he's the answer. I don't think he's a world beater. So Andrew wax.
I didn't say he's a world beater. I just said he's a good all-rounder.
You said some next thing, bro.
I said he's top stuff. I believe he is top stuff.
That's a Mbappe kind of description, man.
No. Mbappe, we're talking about world-class elite footballers. You're here trying to bring Dom Solanke to that party.
Big Dom.
That's like bringing a Fiat Punto to a flipping Ferrari showcase room. Bro, come on, man.
So with them, just lastly on that, yeah, it's kind of bizarre because when you look at these teams, right, you feel like they want to be up there and challenge like for the top stuff, yeah. But then they brought in like someone like Gray,
Archie Gray, yeah,
top player for the future. But
now,
I don't know what he's going to do for Tottenham next season. Yeah, that is going to be so monumental to close the gap that they were missing.
And that's what I'm saying. Midfield wise, it's just not making sense.
Like you said, yeah.
And it's those things is what I find bizarre. Those are the little things, right? You think they'll go in there, listen, we got to go out and really get top players in. Not that the kid isn't top player, but he isn't one for now.
Yeah.
Not that he can't play, he can play. That's why he's made that move. But it's a top ask. I think if they can avoid those injuries and suspensions, last year they look quite good. They dominate most games that they play.
Yeah, but they just didn't have enough to.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think this season they still have enough to. For sure.
All right, so that does it for part 1 of our Premier League preview. Tune in for part 2 where we'll talk about Man City, Newcastle, and of course, Fulham.